At the beginning of the year, some school administrators may ask you for a classroom management plan. And in my mind, I'm thinking, you know what? 1 minute manager, classroom management, 1 minute manager, classroom management, 1 minute manager. What are some things that you can do in your class, minute by minute, that will build your classroom culture? The 1 minute manager basically has 3 main parts. It talks about the 1 minute goal, 1 minute praisings, and 1 minute reprimands. How perfect is that for a busy classroom teacher? As a classroom teacher, do you know how you want your classroom to run? Do you know what routines you want to have in place? Because if you don't know that, the kids will set it for you. In your mind, you want to have an idea of how your ideal classroom would look, how it will feel, and what are some steps that you need to take in order to build that classroom environment, that classroom culture. You definitely want to have some expectations. For example, what are going to be your expectations for students to enter the class? What are expectations or routines for dismissal? What will you do for students who choose to work towards those expectations? What will you do for students who choose not to work towards those expectations? And what I'm really talking about is a classroom management plan. In order to build a classroom management plan, it's going to take more than 1 minute to do that. Definitely. So those things you really need to think about. You really need to plan those things out. And you also will need to think about the school's expectations and make sure that whatever your classroom management plan is, it aligns with the schools. Once you've thought about what those expectations are and how you will handle some cases, now you can think about student behavior. What is it that you will see from students who are working to meet your expectations? What will they be doing? What will they be saying? What will you see? What will you hear? For students who are meeting those expectations, here's where the 1 minute praisings come in. And this is easy. I love praisings because they help the students to see that you're paying attention, that you are aware, you notice the great things that they're doing. 1 minute praisings should be specific and they should be clearly aligned to what the goal of the classroom is. For example, I love the way that you all are coming in and you're getting right on task. You see the bell work that is posted. You have gotten your materials out, and some of you are already working on the bell work. Thank you so much. This is helping the class to save time, and it's going to help us to get through some of the great thinking and some of the exciting activities that we have planned today. 1 minute praising. Just that quick. And guess what? That helps the culture of your class. It helps the learning environment of your class because 2 things are happening. Number 1, the students who are on task, they're gonna hear you reinforce and give them those positive affirmations, and that's gonna motivate them to continue doing well. Secondly, the ones who may not be on task, they notice that you notice. And for them, that can serve as a nudging to go ahead and get your materials out and go ahead and get on task. Twofold purpose, 1 minute praisings. For students who've heard the 1 minute praisings and they are choosing not to get on task, it may take a little more encouragement for them. And this is where the 1 minute reprimand comes into play. So we've all been in those classrooms where you have about 97% of the students who are cooperating, they're on task, but then there may be that 3%. Or there might even be just that one student who needs to be redirected. This is where the 1 minute reprimand happens. Now, with the 1 minute reprimands, you want to use a sandwich effect. And in this case, one part of the sandwich is finding something good that the person has done. And then for the 1 minute reprimand, for me, and again, this plays out in different ways. Sometimes teachers have looks. It could range from the mama look to the like, what are you doing look. Like, you're normally on task. What is going on with you, right? Like, what are you doing? And students are watching. You might not think so, but they are watching you probably more so than you're watching them. Now, in some cases, the looks that might not work, use some proximity control. And my students knew. Like, if I thought something was going on, and if I'm on one side of the classroom, I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna make my way over to you. And you know, and I taught secondary, so some kids were, you know, it's almost like, you know, give me my space. Why you're the helicopter teacher. Well, you know what? That proximity control can be very effective. So part of the 1 minute reprimand is correcting the behavior, and that could be done with a look, that could be done with proximity control, that could be done verbally. Now, with that, I'm very careful, because when it's a verbal correction, typically I don't take classroom time to call out a student, one student or two students, interrupt everyone else. I would walk over to a student and get eye level with them and say, hey, what's going on with you? You know, for the past week, we've had a great week. You have done great work for me. You've participated. Those conversations that you had with your peers that one day, do you remember what you said? And the whole class actually used your idea. Well, come on, I need some more of that today. That's the positive part of it. And now, you know, what I'm seeing right now, you've only written 2 words on your paper. Come on, I know you got some great ideas in your head. Come on, let's get that done, okay? And pause for a minute, let it sink in, and then just keep it moving. So it doesn't have to take a lot of time with 1 minute reprimands. And again, there are so many ways that student behavior can be addressed and be corrected. But again, that one thing that Blanchard and Johnson says that I love, when we touch, we definitely don't want to take. So keeping in mind that students are still developing, they're not who they are going to be. And so we definitely don't want to tear them down. We definitely want to address the behavior, correct the behavior, and give them some guidance without taking from them or destroying them as people. I know we've got some wonderful on-point teachers out there. If you don't mind, take a moment to share with us what works. New teachers, what do you think will work for a classroom management plan? What do you think is something quick and to the point that will work for either 1 minute praisings, 1 minute reprimands, 1 minute goals? Let us know. Experienced teachers, what are some proven practices that work with classroom management? Let us know.